herzlich willkommen bei whisky.de, dem Treffpunkt feiner Geister. Und ich bin hier auf der Isle of Skye in den Inneren Hebriden. Und das ist ein wunderschöner Maitag. Also der Wind ist ein bisschen kühl, aber es ist immer noch gerade so T-Shirt-Wetter. Und ich bin hier an einem sehr schönen Meeresarm und ihr seht es schon hinter mir, worum es heute gehen wird. Heute besuchen wir mal Talisker, ja, eine der wenigen fehlenden größeren Brennereien, die wir noch nicht besucht haben. Und ja, schauen wir mal rein, was es bei Talisker alles so geht. Die Geschichte von Talisker beginnt mit zwei Brüdern, Hugh und Kenneth McCaskill, und die kamen 1825 auf die Insel. Und die haben dann, ja, wollten eine Brennerei gründen. Sie waren Söhne eines Arztes und hatten dadurch sehr, sehr viel Wissen, auch Geld, und wollten hier eine Brennerei gründen. Aber sie hatten großen Widerstand mit der Free Church of Scotland. Also die Christen wollten hier nicht, dass man hier Alkohol herstellt auf dieser Insel, und haben da sehr, sehr viel Druck gemacht, dass das nicht passiert. Konnten sich aber die zwei Söhne durchsetzen und haben dann mit dem lokalen Clan, der damals noch das Sagen hatte, im Grunde einen Mietvertrag abgeschlossen. Man sagt, sie hätten ein Fass Uschgebar oder Whisky pro Jahr dafür bekommen, und deswegen durften sie dann hier die Brennerei bauen. Ja, das war 1830. Die Brennerei wurde nicht grundlos hier gebaut, denn hier hat man ein sehr, sehr schönes Meeresarm, ein Loch, ein Saltwater-Loch, und da hat man dann immer schön ein Pier gehabt, weil das war früher die Art, wie man transportiert hat. Im Grunde die Rohmaterialien rein und die fertigen Fässer wurden damit raus transportiert. Und da hat man dann über die Jahre 1840, 50 hat man dann eben das Ganze ausgebaut, ein bisschen größeren Pier gebaut, ein bisschen mehr Schienen hingesetzt, die Brennerei ausgebaut, und hat relativ gut floriert. Die Brennerei wurde aber auch öfters verkauft, und da gibt es wilde Geschichten über Whisky-Schmuggel und illegalen Whisky verkaufen. Da musste die Brennerei wieder verkauft werden und so weiter und so fort. Das große Ereignis bei Talisker war 1960, denn da gab es ein großes Feuer und die gesamte Brennerei ist zerstört worden, niedergebrannt und wurde dann wieder aufgebaut. Und zwar in einer Rekordzeit von 2 Jahren. 1962 ist die Brennerei dann wieder aufgebaut worden, war wieder am Laufen, und das besser denn je. Weiter geht's in der Neuzeit. Man kann sich vorstellen, früher war es so, dass man sehr, sehr viel in der Blendindustrie war. Also sehr, sehr viel von den ganzen Whiskyproduktionen ging in die Blendindustrie, auch von den Maltdistillen. Und 1988 hat man dann angefangen, mit dem Talisker 10 einen Single Malt Whisky richtig auf den Markt zu bringen. Sie wurde eine ganze Menge verkauft, ging dann irgendwann in United Distillers, wurde sie verkauft, was dann überging zu Diageo, was wir heute kennen, und zu denen gehört sie immer noch. Und man kann hier schön, wo ich jetzt bin, im wunderschönen Visitor Center die Brennerei auch besuchen. Jeder gute Whisky fängt mit 2 Zutaten an, und das ist das Wasser und das Malz. Das Wasser, sie haben 14 Untergrundquellen aus dem nahegelegenen Hügel, dem Hawk Hill. Und das ist sehr, sehr wichtig. Vor allem war das früher wichtig. Gutes Wasser, weil sie hatten damals keine Filter. Das Wasser wurde ungefiltert benutzt. Und das war extrem wichtig für die Produktion von Whisky. Das ist auch heutzutage immer noch. Der Hügel ist sogar vulkanischen Ursprungs. Also man hat sehr, sehr viel Basalt. Und durch dieses Basaltgestein wird das Wasser sehr schön gefiltert und verliert ungewollte Stoffe, die man im Whisky nicht haben will. Aber es gibt eben noch so ein bisschen eine mineralische Note, und das trägt natürlich zum Geschmack von Talisker eine Menge bei. Also die Mineralien im Wasser eines Whiskys geben sehr, sehr viel Ausschlag für die Geschmäcker, die produziert werden, da sich ganz andere Hefekulturen darin und Bakterienkulturen bilden können. Aber so weit sind wir noch nicht. Wir sind jetzt erstmal beim Einmaischen. Und das Zweite, was wir dann für eine gute Maische brauchen, ist das Malz. Und das Malz, sie sind eine West Coast, sagen sie, also ein Westküstenstil. Sie haben 20 ppm Torf, also ein etwas leichter getorfter das Malz, und damit erreichen sie wirklich schon so einen schönen Island-Style Whisky. Das Ganze wird grob geschrotet in einer richtig alten Mühle, die wahrscheinlich noch seit Anfang der Brennerei dort steht und wird dann 8 Tonnen grob geschrotet, hier in die Mash-Tonnen eingeführt und dann eben mit ca. 60.000 Liter Wasser beziehungsweise das Wasser aus dem vorigen Mashing schon vermischt und dann eben dieser zuckrige Brei entsteht. Dann hier die Enzyme im Malz spalten die Stärke auf im Zucker und da haben wir einen richtig schönen Brei, schön süß, sehr, sehr, sehr zuckrig und das ist perfekt fürs Fermentieren. Obwohl dieser Brei hier, Sie sagen, ja, viele Leute mögen es nicht, weil der ist richtig, richtig schön rauchig und eben richtig rassig, so wie man es eben dann später auch im Whisky schmecken kann. Und mit diesem schönen zuckrigen Brei gehen wir dann weiter in die Fermentation. Die Brennerei fermentiert noch klassisch in diesen alten, hölzernen Washbags und die werden aus entweder sibirischer Lärche oder Oregon Pine, also der in Amerika hergestellt. Ist ähnlicher, sehr, sehr ähnlicher Baum, aber er wird halt entweder in Europa oder in Amerika gewachsen, angebaut. Genau. Und wir haben hier so ca. 38.000 Liter Wort, was dann eben fermentiert wird, auf ungefähr 8,5% mit insgesamt 8 von diesen Fermentationskesseln. Und es ist sehr, sehr wichtig, was man hier für Geschmäcker produziert. Und das kommt stark darauf an, was man eben für Zutaten hat. Wir hatten jetzt eben einmal das Wasser, sehr, sehr mineralisch und eben noch den kräftigen Rauch oder den mittleren Rauch von 20 ppm. Und das ist wirklich besonders, weil man hier wirklich auf so einen rassigen Insel-Whisky setzt. Wir haben nicht so diese kompletten übermenschlichen Rauch, den wir von Islay kennen, aber so ein echt dieses Mineralische darin und dieser Rauch in mittleren Maße, der ist wirklich besonders für die Geschmacksproduktion. Fermentieren tun sie 72 Stunden. Das machen sie so, dass sie in einem schönen, fruchtigen Bereich ankommen. Also sie zielen so ein bisschen auf diese Zitrusfrische. Denn irgendwo am Anfang kommt man eher so grüne Apfel, Birne, dann geht es ein bisschen so über in Zitrusfrische. Mit diesen 72 Stunden, also bis zu 72 Stunden, sie haben da ist immer ein bisschen Variation dazwischen. Das ist ganz normal und auch wenn man es in den Wash Charger tut, gärt es immer noch ein bisschen nach. Also 72 Stunden ist so das Ungefähre, wo man auch so richtig schön diese Zitrusfrische hat, wo es dann später übergeht, mehr in dieses grasige und dann tropische und solche Geschichten. Das ist das, worauf sie abzielen, eine schöne Zitrusfrische noch bei der Fermentation reinzumachen. Aber es geht immer noch weiter mit den Geschmack, denn diese mineralischen Geschmäcker, diese kräftigen Geschmäcker, die kann man auch anders erstellen. Ja, das große Geheimnis und das große Thema bei Talisker ist ja eigentlich, wo kommt dieser Chili-Catch oder diese Pfeffrigkeit her? Es gibt ja tonnenweise von Diskussionen auf jeglichen Foren oder Messen und so. Ist es Chili, ist es Pfeffer? Da werden wir heute nicht nachgehen. Wir werden ein bisschen schauen, woher kommt's. Und ich habe den Leuten gefragt und so, teilweise, ist Geheimnis und teilweise, wir wissen es selber nicht. Es ist irgendwo dazwischen. Also was die Leute so rausgefunden haben, woher kommt das Ganze, ist, es kommt aus der Wash Still. Und geht ein bisschen konträr zu dem, was ich euch bis jetzt alles in so vielen Videos erzählt habe, dass die Wash Still eigentlich vernachlässigbar ist in der Destillation, eigentlich nur zum Erhöhen des Alkohols da ist. Und sie sagen, nee, es ist in der Wash Still der Kupferkontakt. Was wir haben, ist eine 14.700 Liter Wash Still, die dann ganz normal locusgeheizt wird, schöne Einschnürung, schöner Refluxbowl, also mehr Reflux, sehr hoch. Also auch schöne Alkoholseparation, auch wenn sie hoch sind, hat man auch ein bisschen mehr Reflux, ein bisschen mehr Kupferkontakt. Und dann hat man diesen ganz besonderen Linearm, also diese 90-Grad-Kurve, dann gerade, dann wieder 90 Grad, wieder 90 Grad. Und am Ende dieser 90-Grad-Kurve seht ihr ein Rohr. Und das ist ein Reflux-System. Also ein Reflux, im Grunde alles, was da hinten kondensiert schon, das passiert, weil es auch das Kupfer kühlt, ist ein guter Wärmeleiter und der kühlt dann schon, während es in diesem Schwanenhals drin ist. Und alles, was da kondensiert, fließt wieder zurück in den Pott und wird wieder destilliert. Hat deswegen wieder Kupferkontakt und das sagen sie eben, daraus entsteht eben diese Pfeffrigkeit. Draußen in den Warm-Tubs wird das Ganze dann in den Kühlschlangen gekühlt und dann wieder in die flüssige Phase zurückgebracht. Und daraus entstehen dann die Low Wines, also das Zwischendestillat mit ca. 20 bis 25% Alkohol. Und das geht dann weiter in die 3 kleinen Potstills. Und die haben sie extra nicht mehr hochgewählt. 11.000 Liter, bedeutend kleiner. Und dort brennt man auch ganz normal in die Warm-Tubs rein und weniger mit Reflux. Also er hat auch kein Reflux-System. Und denn sie haben gesagt, wenn wir das noch machen würden, dann würden wir zu gentle werden, zu leicht werden, zu weich werden. Und wir hätten nicht mehr diese Rassigkeit, die man eben von einem Insel-Whisky von Talisker kennt. Und deswegen brennt man auf der Spirit Still, wo es dann entscheidend ist über weich und kräftig. Da destilliert man dann eher Richtung kräftig. Was ich auch noch so ein bisschen nachgefragt habe, die Cuts, hat man den oberen Cut ein bisschen niedriger gesetzt und den unteren, den würde ich sagen, der ist normal bis vielleicht ein bisschen höher. Das heißt, wir haben mehr von den leichten Bestandteilen, die dann rauskommen und nicht im fertigen New Make enden, also im fertigen Rohbrand enden. Und das bedeutet auch, dass wir ein bisschen weniger leichte Stoffe drin haben, dass er ein bisschen kräftiger, ein bisschen robuster eben, auch damit auch würziger rauskommt, trägt dann auch zu dieser Pfeffrigkeit oder Chili-Catch mit dazu. Am Ende haben wir hier eine schöne Destillationskontrolle. Insgesamt werden 3 Millionen Liter Rohbrand hier pro Jahr produziert. Und das ist für so eine kleine abgelegene Brennerei doch wirklich eine ganze Menge. Die Talisker Brennerei hat ihr Visitor Center erweitert und dadurch mussten leider die letzten Warehouses weichen. Also werden die Fässer nicht direkt bei der Brennerei gelagert. Und das ist schön. Bei Talisker ist es aber so, man ist schon sehr stolz auf seinen besonderen Rohbrand. Also dieser Distillery Character ist schon etwas, was extrem interessant ist bei Talisker. Und deswegen überlegt man sich sehr, sehr genau, wie viel man lagert. Wie viel will man vom Fass haben und wie viel will man abbauen von der Jugend im Rohbrand. Also man ist sehr stolz auf seinen Rohbrand, aber jeder weiß natürlich, Rohbrand schmeckt so ein bisschen jugendlich, ein bisschen diese metallische Jugend hat man mit drin. Also versucht man bei Talisker wirklich den Sweet Spot zu finden, wo man sagt, noch viel vom Distilleriecharakter vom Rohbrand drin und noch genug, dass man sagen kann, schön gut gelagerter Whisky. Und da sagt man dann, das ist dann der Distilleriecharakter von Talisker, aber es hängt natürlich auch von jedem seinen persönlichen Geschmäckern ab. Gelagert wird für die Standardabfüllungen, für die normalen Abfüllungen immer erstmal in Bourbonfässer. Hinter mir sieht man so eins. Und das hier ist mal eine Fassdauer, wie man hier sehr schön sehen kann. Innen drin ein bisschen ausgebrannt, aber es ist ein leichter Ausbrand. Und was man dann auch noch sehen kann, hier die Sherryfässer. Diese riesigen, meist 500 Liter Fässer aus europäischer Eiche. Sie benutzen nicht nur Sherry, sie benutzen auch Port, sie haben Rotwein, Rum, Cognac, gibt es eine ganze Menge. Was ich hier auch noch Schönes zeigen kann, ist, man hat bei den, erstmal Sherryfässer merkt man, die werden noch manuell ausgebrannt. Hier unten hat man fast gar keinen Char und hier in der Mitte ist schon so ein ganz leichter Alligator drin. Aber was man dann auch noch merkt, ist der Unterschied zwischen den Sherryfässern und den Bourbonfässern. Die Amerikaner ist eher ein Massenprodukt, etwas dünner, etwas optimierter und Sherry dann doch sehr, sehr viel dicker und Sherryfässer werden noch sehr, sehr lange benutzt. Also die Fässer kann man oft auskratzen und wieder gut machen. Dafür gibt es extra Cooperages für und das macht die Sherryfässer ein bisschen langlebiger. Genau. Und nach dieser Lagerung ist es dann ein fertiger Talisker und den werden wir jetzt mal probieren. Ja, das war's mit der Produktion und jetzt sitze ich hier und wir haben noch ein kleines Tasting vor uns. Yeah, this was it with the production and now I'm sitting here with Grant Walker and you are 15 years in the whiskey industry. Had a look in very many directions, so thank you very much for showing us the distillery. That was just a lovely visit.
You're very welcome. Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just really nice, but I'm really looking forward to finding out what the whole range, how that fits to the distillery. And what I love so much is the new make.
Oh, great.
So what are we having today?
First off, well, to your great joy, will be the new make spirit. This is, I believe this batch was about 71%.
So it's straight from the still?
Straight from the still. This is the hearts of the spirits we were speaking about earlier. Swill it around, give it a little nose. I like to just sort of put some on the palm of my hand as well and let it dry out.
Oh yeah, that's the proper distiller's way.
You get a lot more like cereal notes from it that way, I find.
Yeah.
As it starts to dry out as well, hear me out. Prosciutto. That smokiness, that cured meat, right?
Yeah, but it's so lovely. It's strange for me. Is it really heavily peated or is it medium peated? It's usually you have like your lightly peated or your non-peated, like 1 or 2 or something, and then you have the 51.
Yeah.
This is 20 is just awesome.
The joy with Talisker is that like medium peaty level,
yeah,
right?
It's really medium
it's not all you can smell. You get other subtle flavors like working their way through as well, I find.
But this reminds me a little bit about my breakfast. I had the full Scottish, so this
3 drams. No.
Now the haggis and the bacon and stuff, but the haggis was really well peppered. But I had a really peppery haggis, and that reminds me a little bit about that. Yeah, 70%, but yeah, the spiciness within. Oh, now I do have the chili catch. And there's a huge discussion going on with the German crowd, probably also in the international one. Is it a chili or is it a pepper? What do you say?
I think it depends on the whiskey. Sometimes with this, Szechuan peppercorn is what I get. So it's like almost numbing as well. So I do think it's more like cracked black pepper rather than like an actual chili pepper.
For the new make, the first thing that came to my mind was a chili catch.
Okay.
With the smelling was definitely pepper. Black pepper, like really dark black pepper. I like it, and it's so awesome to try it because I was always wondering how it tastes like without a maturation.
Yeah, that's the joy of tasting new make spirit, right? It's unadulterated. Yeah. It's not been touched by any other wood, so it's.
Yeah, I like it. So what I didn't touch is usually like all the whiskeys is always like Gaelic, Glen, and all that kind of stuff. So where does the name Skye come from?
Skye, it's like a Nordic name. Skye or Skeeve was the name that the Nords would have given to this island when they actually landed on it as well. Talisker, the name, is relatively Gaelic. I believe it translates to sloping rock, which is an attest to our volcanic rock that we have a lot of on the island.
Okay, so that is really like a Nordic background. But you have it sometimes on the Isle. The Isles were often raided by the Nordic.
I think it was a good base for people with a lot of boats.
Were
able to find.
I think we drove through here, and there's a road called Olaf's Road or something. Okay, very Scottish name. Okay, so but 10-year-old.
10-year-old, Talisker 10-year-old.
Is actually a classic.
The classic malt, right?
Classic malt.
Introduced in 1988, I believe. A minimum of 10 years matured in refill American oak casks. So the joy of the 10-year-old, it just sort of allows that distillery characteristic to shine through rather than being overpowered with American oak characteristics. I think that's why it is popular as well. Talisker New Make Spirit takes influence from wood very well, I find. So 10-year-old, I think, is just perfect for our classic malt.
So is it just American oak, or do you have like a smidge of sherry in there?
No, 10-year-old is purely refill American oak casks.
Refill
American oak casks. We usually get from a variety of different bourbon producers, and then we'll have them sent over. We initially use the casks for different whiskies, which we'll get to in a bit, but then we will use those more used casks, the refill casks, to be producing our 10-year-old.
Yeah, I think if you put it in like first fill, that would just probably be like candy touch to it, and like it works. It just from when you come from here, you just don't want to miss it.
You still get the notes of it, right?
You still get a little bit of a bourbon touch to it, but there's tons of the new make spirit in there.
It's the joy of the Talisker 10. I find you still get the peat smoke shining through. It's not overpowering.
Yeah,
the citrus fruit I get a lot of on the nose. I get quite a bit of orange peel on the nose with a 10-year-old from that long ferment time. and then...
Oh, that is hard to distinguish in the new make.
In the new make, I get more like stone fruits.
Yeah.
Almost
it does have a bit of a citrus fruit in it, but not as much as this one.
Near
so yeah, probably also a little bit of the refill cask, but the smokiness is a lot less than the
oh, for sure, yeah.
It's what you know of Talisker.
It's the longer it spends in the cask, I find the more time that peat smoke just sort of dissipates. It's still there, but it schmecks together a bit better, you know.
Yeah, and I like it that it has a little bit of a marine flavor to it. Not as overwhelming as you'd like from like a woolen or something like that.
Yeah, it's still there. The maritime influence. It's a bit briny. I've heard people say, like oyster brine, which is another thing you can do if you have the chance to try some oysters on the island. Pour out some of the oyster brine. Pour in some Talisker 10-year-old.
The more you smell it, the more it comes with that marine sea flavor. It's a bit waiting. It's a bit waiting game for the marine flavor.
It's slange.
Slange? I like it that it's now. The other one was a bit harsh, 70%. No adventure. But
it's not a daily drinker.
That chili cut right at the beginning has that peppery note to it. Has that really spicy touch to it. A little bit of that bourbon cask sweetness coming through.
For sure. You get a bit like toffee. I don't know if you've tried sticky toffee pudding since you've been here, but yeah, it's
caramel toffee, that kind of thing. But in the middle, now in the finish, smoke. I like it that you have the smoke in the finish. Usually it's just glass in mouth, smoke everywhere.
Exactly. It's not like embers of a bonfire. It's more like there is a distant bonfire somewhere on a beach somewhere. You know, it's not overpowering at all. I get the chili pepper on the catch personally, on the finish. That's where that stays with me. The finish is really sort of hot almost.
I had with these two, I had it like right in the beginning, and then goes more into the pepperiness.
It's the joy of whiskey tasting. I always used to say there are no wrong answers. Somebody then told me this tasted like potatoes. So now I say there are a few wrong answers. But the thing is, you do have a nice marine flavor to it. You're not like one of these Highland smoky, you're island smoky, definitely. And so I think your slogan is made by the sea. Yes.
So what is that behind that?
So we have an influence by the sea, of course. We don't mature in the sea, like some rumours suggest. We don't leave casks floating out on Loch Harport. We are very close to a beautiful sea loch that's just out there. So made beside the sea, made in close proximity to the sea, rather than using seawater in our production, which would require quite a lot of filtration, I think.
Seawater is harsh.
Yeah.
Seawater is harsh for mechanical standpoint of view. Yeah. So no like underwater warehouses.
Not that I know of. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Okay, so the next one is then what was it? Skye.
Talisker Skye. Yeah, we're going to get onto this one next. So this is where reconditioning of casks comes into play. With the Skye, it's a mixture of refill and reconditioned casks with a heavier lean towards the reconditioned. So you're getting much more cask influence on this compared to the 10-year-old, or one we'll try in a bit. For me, this makes it much more lighter in colour, as well as on the nose and on the palate too. So like you suggested, with the influence of American oak, you're getting some of that vanilla sort of sweetness to it. If the first time I tried this with a drop of water as well, that's when more like orchard fruits came out rather than like citrus fruits that you get from the 10-year-old. So maybe like a bit of crushed apple, overly ripe pears, that sort of thing.
Oh, you're right.
Green grapes as well.
It has a bit more of that touch to the new make.
Yeah, being ever so slightly younger, right? It's gonna taste a bit immature, maybe a little bit juvenile, but you still definitely get the heavy char.
Yeah, but I like it that it's not attacking, but it's very very nice, as in the smokiness comes through very nicely.
Yeah, it's still there, more predominantly than the 10-year-old. I find the smoke is there on the Skye. It's the younger the whiskey, tends to be the case with.
And as you said, now I got the stone fruits and that kind of
like nectarine almost.
Strange. I like it. So,
Slange.
Very round though. The first thing that comes to my mind is really just round and pleasant, and you have a bit of that smokiness, and then comes the spiciness kicks in. A little bit of a chili catch to it, just a smidge of it, but then pepperiness going on.
Yeah. For the slightly younger whiskey, it does have that well-rounded complexity to it that you would expect from a much older whiskey. Again, I think back to what I said about like the joy of Talisker spirit taking influence from casks very well. This comes into the light when you're drinking something like the Skye or the Storm, which we'll touch on next as well.
So I do like it that you touched so much on the distillery character, and I had a talk with a few friends, and the discussion was always like do you enjoy like an old Talisker? And they were like, no, don't do an old Talisker, go for the younger. There's like more spiciness, and when you have the older, it's just matured out and like all the others. And do you get that here as well at the distillery?
Oh, for sure. I mean, everybody's palate's a little bit different, right? People do lean towards younger whiskies for that more sort of robust sort of, you're drinking whiskey when you're drinking something a little bit younger. Personally, I might show myself up here a bit, but the 27-year-old I prefer to the 30. I don't know if that means the 27-year-old is young, but I find that's just like the sweet spot of Talisker personally. With not too much cask influence, they've been very specific in the type of cask that they've chosen to mature that for 27 years. But again, you're getting similar flavours that shine through from the Skye.
It's obvious that when you put it in like a refill cask, it's much different than you put it in like, I don't know, a sherry cask, PX cask.
First fill PX or something. You just completely lose it.
That is just overwhelming. Okay, so next up is the Storm then?
Yeah, so Storm, again, similar to the Skye in age, but refill casks and reconditioned American oak casks, but this time it's more of a lean towards the refill casks. So this one, again, if you're preferring the younger sort of Talisker, this one will probably be what you're going to prefer. It allows a lot more of that distillery characteristic shining through. The peat smoke's given less time to dissipate. There's less influence from the cask. So this one I find is incredibly young tasting. Probably the smokier side of Talisker, I would find. This one's like sitting downwind next to a bonfire. Like it's just catching you in the face sometimes.
It is definitely much more smoky, but I would have liked to know how that is when you have it the first, because I had 2 Talisker already, and there's a good amount of smoke already going on here.
We got a lot of people coming in and they'll say, I don't like smoky whiskey, what have you got for me? And I'll be like,
nothing.
The door. I'll lean them towards the Skye for sure. A lot of people are like, big peat smoke fan, we've been to Islay, what have you got for me? This is where I'll lean them towards, something like the Storm, right?
Oh. Yeah, smoky.
It's a smoke bomb, right?
I don't know if it just because I had some more water, but a little bit less the spiciness. It's definitely one of the. You say bonfire. I would have said with that. I would have said like a heavily prosciutto, like.
Oh
like
yeah, you're
really,
getting the meatiness off of this.
Less like the prosciutto, but like when you go into one of these smoking rooms. The smoldering, smoky rooms where
barbecue.
you have like all walls are black, and you're like, okay, smoking going on here.
Yeah. Barbecue sauce then. You're getting a bit of honey on there as well. So like honey barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I need to get into the hickory stuff again sometimes.
I'm getting hungry now.
I like it, but yet I do find I had the chart there with the immaturity and the maturity. I do find that you have the sweet spot. They're really you feel that they're a bit more rough, and they have a lot of from the what do you call it from
the new make, yeah.
But they don't have anything of the metallic harshness that you have in new make. Sorry to say that, but the new make it's
no,
nice
absolutely.
new make, but
yeah.
all the new makes have it.
It's produced using copper, right? It's going to have that metallic taste to it. No, I know what you mean. The immaturity is personally for me still there in this one, but again, like a lot of people do look for that. You're looking for that sort of ruggedness of a younger whiskey, especially coming from the Highlands, the islands as well.
But I would say you do have a bit of immaturity. You always have that, except for 18 plus. But you do have so little of it that it's really not distracting, and you can still feel the character. That is the brilliant thing about that. The next one is a bit of a. I think that's now a mixture because what is it? That looks very Gaelic to me.
Portree.
Portree.
This is like the old Gaelic spelling for the main town on the Isle of Skye.
So wait, but it is the town on the island.
So Portree, is like the main town. You drive through Portree, there's 3 different spellings of it on different signs. So there's R-I-G-H, there's R-I-G-H-E, and then we've got R-U-I-G-H-E, which this is apparently the oldest Gaelic. They found it from some archives. With Gaelic, I find you just chuck a bunch of extra vowels at a word and it's pronounced exactly the same.
Yeah, someone told me when you go 5 miles, you have another Gaelic language, another Gaelic kind of tribe language. So there are 3 kind of, but are they like one English or is it all Gaelic?
It would all be different forms of Gaelic through different ages.
Gaelic is just how you want to write it, huh?
Whoever you spoke to last and who they told you to spell it, yeah.
But it's strange that you have like the Skye and their main city is Portree, like Nordic and guess they
Nordic and Gaelic influence. Yeah,
guess they can conquer back sometime. And
I think the Celts did pretty well. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the Portree about?
Portree. So this is arguably double wood. So initially it starts its life out in those refill American oak casks, and then we put it for a 9-month finishing period into ruby port casks. So both American and European oak influence on this one. You can kind of tell by the colour. Clues in the name as well. Portree. So this is one of my affordable favourites to touch back on the 27.
That one I did have the latest. I mean, I can still remember the last time I tried the Portree and it was nice.
It's quite special to a lot of people. Again, this is one that's usually more popular with red wine drinkers. They find sort of similar flavours in there. You'll probably notice when you're swilling it around in the glass as well. It's much more tannic. It's taken a lot of that influence from the portwood. So the viscosity changes quite drastically. The legs are far more abundant. I adore this one, I'm not going to lie.
I do like it that you have like distillery character in different nuances, and then you have like the one that is a bit different with
just playing about with different casks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, most Taliskers will start its life out in those refill casks, and then we put it into something else just to liven it up a bit, see what happens. These experimental casks, ones that we've got behind me here, go on to actually influence releases. There's one that's actually based on the Portree. Rather than leaving it in for 9 months, we left it in for 2.5 years just to see what it would do.
Okay.
So but see what you make of this one. Slange.
Oh, it's much sweeter. I'm amazed how round they are when you have them in your mouth. Oh, and now I'm amazed that when you swallow it, that it comes with the spiciness. It's really a bit of a that I love about the whiskey in general is you have a lot of whiskeys that are roller coaster whiskeys. Start off gentle, go up, and
then bring you nice and back down.
You have a smoky cloud in your mouth.
Surprise, it's spicy again, right? This one, on the nose for me, it get a lot of like fig, maybe like dried cranberries as well.
I had a little bit of a fig or what is that? Something creamy. It was more like peach or something like at the beginning. In the mouth, in the nose, it was more vibrant with like a bit of grapey flavor. Like the
black
really bit of a wine flavor. Black
for sure, like the dark fruits you would expect. Where I touched on this one, the Skye earlier, saying it was like overly ripe apples. I think this is pure red apples.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
red
get,
apples and dried apples and all that kind of stuff. But in the mouthfeel, they just feel very, very creamy and very just until the spiciness kicks in.
It lures you in with this creaminess, and then it's like, bam, take that.
So I think we did have a good overview of like the range.
I think so too.
What else is there in the Talisker range?
So recently we've released something called the Wild Blue, which is double matured, 16 months extra in South African red wine cask.
Ooh, okay, nice.
We had the 2024 special release. It's called the Tidal Churn. It's matured in a stone tumbled cask. So it's a technique I think we've stolen from the wine industry, where we take an empty American oak cask, we put, I believe it's jade, basalt, and because it's us, some seawater inside the cask, spin it around really quickly. So rather than the traditional method of like just shaving off the dead wood, this sort of roughs up the wood on the inside, polishes it a little bit as well, increasing the surface area, making it much more reactive with the liquid we put inside. That one's glorious. For 8 years old, it's incredibly complex as well.
And like, I think you have a 18 and a 25.
Oh yeah, we've got the 18, the 25.
What you had? Did you have the 27 that you like most?
The 27, unfortunately for this, is a distillery exclusive, so you'd have to come here to get it. But yeah, that's one that I absolutely adore. That was like butterscotch, honeycomb, silk in your mouth. It's amazing.
And then 30 and 40?
30, we've got 41. We recently released the 1976, which was lucky enough to try. We got to taste it as a team. I happened to sit next to my colleague Thomas, who doesn't drink. So he was just like, here you go, man. Hands me a glass of £400 whiskey. I'm like, sweet, this is a good day. We also have at the distillery fill your own bottles with like rejuvenated Napa Valley red wine casks. If you can find it, we used to do like cognac casks as well. The parlay, it was called the Wilder Seas.
So I can remember that one.
Yeah.
And Distillers Edition?
Distillers Edition, yeah. So that's Amoroso sherry seasoned American oak casks.
But they vary from year to year?
They vary from year to year, usually leaning towards that sherry cask.
That's quite a range you have with Talisker.
Yeah, we're doing all right?
Yeah, it's not like Lagerung, like
nice and small.
Talisker has quite a range, and I do like it. But I mean, back to the roots, the 10 is just...
Yeah, I think
just Talisker for me.
Having such a strong core range allows us to play about with other casks quite well, and I'm all for it. Like this exploration of flavour that comes with using different types of casks, I absolutely adore. It's just this other variable you can change with whiskey tasting that results in a complexity of flavours, right?
Yeah, that is really nice. So thank you very much for having this.
My absolute pleasure, man. Yeah, thank you.
I just learned so much about Talisker, and thank you very much for watching. And if you found these whiskies interesting, then have a look at whiskey.com or whiskey.de. You can buy most of them that we talked about at our website, except for the distillery exclusives. And thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.